I'm Benedict Benigno, and 22 years ago I founded the Ovarian Cancer Institute and registered it with the Secretary of State of Georgia as a 501c corporation. Soon thereafter, John McDonald joined the Institute and became its chief scientific officer. We became a self-charged entity dedicated to the discovery of a diagnostic test for early-stage ovarian cancer that would become as close to 100% as we could possibly get it. I became obsessed with this mission, and that's the only appropriate word for it, as such a test remains one of oncology's most holy of grails. It is most unusual for a clinician to discover ovarian cancer in an early stage. It's almost always diagnosed in a stage 3 or 4, and the reason for this is painfully simple. The ovary is the only organ in the body that has its functioning cells facing the interior of the abdomen, and so long before a tumor forms, the cells detach themselves and implant on all surfaces in the abdomen and favor the wall of the bowel. And so the early sign of ovarian cancer, the first indication that something is wrong, is frequently an early partial small bowel obstruction. No matter what you have been told, there is no way to diagnose an early stage ovarian cancer. If a surgeon encounters a stage 1 tumor, he or she is operating almost always for some other reason, and an early ovarian cancer becomes a serendipitous event.
I've been connected with ovarian cancer both in my personal life and my professional life for more than 40 years. And my story starts with my mother. She was having many symptoms which nobody could find an answer for. And when the diagnosis was finally made, she did have ovarian cancer and she was already at a stage 3. This happened back in the 80s. She didn't have many options available for her. She had generalized treatment and it was not effective and her disease progressed. She only survived for another 18 months and died in her 50s, which was a sadness for our whole family. Fast forward a little bit, I am a nurse and professionally have been very interested and followed very carefully the research that's been done with the Ovarian Cancer Institute around this disease. And it's been incredible to me to watch the advancements that have been made, both in the research, the technology, and also the treatments that have been made available over the last 40 years. It really does help give hope to patients that have a diagnosis, but most importantly, the research that's being done right now is to diagnose this cancer early on. I am grateful to be knowledgeable and working with OCI in order to see all the advancements that are being made. And I'm more than honored for this particular recognition tonight, as this is a very personal and professional interest of mine, hoping too that with all the advancements that are made, it will help more women and more families in the future.
Funding for this, what was considered at the time somewhat risky approach, was impossible to get funded by the federal agencies like NIH. Rather, we were relying upon many of the people in this room tonight and other early OCI donors to get started. My laboratory, in collaboration with scientists and engineers at Georgia Tech, was able to develop a nanoparticle that could target delivery of a new RNA class of cancer therapeutics directly to tumors with high efficacy and precision.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Nick Housley, and I am a scientist working at Georgia Tech on our nanoparticle project, which is also our next generation drug delivery platform designed to target, treat, and eliminate ovarian and other cancers. The very next step that we have to undertake is a study designed to investigate the toxic responses of these nanoparticles. The support of the Ovarian Cancer Institute is absolutely critical for us to achieve the next step, which is in fact those toxicity studies for us to actually gear up and begin our first in-human trial.
Our plan for improved diagnostics for ovarian cancer also involved outside-the-box technologies, where our plan was to utilize a branch of artificial intelligence called machine learning to come up with accurate diagnostics by looking at the profiles of metabolites in the blood.
The idea is you'd like to develop a blood test for ovarian cancer, just like there's a PSA test. The problem with ovarian cancer, as I'm sure everyone in this audience is aware, is it's a silent killer. What one would like to be able to do is to have a routine test that is fairly non-invasive, that says you have a high probability of developing ovarian cancer or not. The idea was we wanted to build a fingerprint and figure out, based upon mass spec testing, are they, given your profile, do you have ovarian cancer or not? And you have a distribution of scores. So over the last several months, through multiple iterations, we've been fine-tuning these algorithms. And we've come up with a test, and we can diagnose right now 2/3 of all women that have ovarian cancer. We can say you've got 100% probability of getting it. If you allow us to be 85% or better, it's 93% of women. Ultimately, the dream is you just get a blood test, you're a postmenopausal woman or a woman in your 40s or 50s, you take this, and this will catch it early. I'm very grateful to be able to do this because, having a loved one die of a cancer, especially, when they're relatively young, is awful. And anything we can do to mitigate those conditions is particularly gratifying.
On behalf of myself and all the researchers that OCI has funded in the past, at present, and in the future, I want to say thank you. Working together, we hope that soon we will eradicate the title of ovarian cancer being the silent killer of women, not only in the United States, but all over the world.
I would like to thank each and every one of you for lending your support and your treasure to this work. I see this test becoming the Pap smear of ovarian cancer, available to all women on a yearly basis, and more often for those who are at high risk for the development of ovarian cancer. I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I have reason to believe that you will not be disappointed. Thank you.